Okay, so I'm still having issues with my camera on my laptop recording a video as long as it needs to be for this, so I'm just going to do it in segments, which is perfectly fine. So there's basically a series of three stretches for kind of like the wrist shoulder blade meridian system here that will help with tight thumbs, carpal tunnel, and it will definitely help with shoulder alignment because those things are certainly related. Um, so this is just going to be an intro video, just how to think about this system. I touched upon it in an email, but of course sometimes it's good to just see these things visually, and you're probably more apt to open up a video than you are to open up an email and reread that. So I'm just going to stand up here. So a couple things to think about, right? So I had mentioned your sternum, your collarbone is really important to think about, and then of course the muscles between your shoulder blades, and that's going to be related to shoulder alignment. And when you're working on shoulder alignment, you're basically working on one side of this meridian system that can manifest in issues with tight hands and wrists. So you'll notice if you just place your finger on top of your sternum, and you press your sternum out to the far wall. Now, I'm not pressing out and, tweaking my shoulders to the side. Basically, if you think of your collarbone, right, basically comes from the course just about the front side of your armpits, if you will. It's actually your side chest muscle. But keeping that square, so you're pressing out. And what will naturally happen when you do that is that you're going to be squeezing these muscles along your shoulder blades towards your vertebra, and that has the effect of pulling your shoulder blades together. Now, if you think about it, when you pull your shoulder blades together, this area opens up, right? So it's one and the same thing. You're either stretching this area, and that will cause these muscles to contract. So when you're thinking about stretching this area, you're thinking about widening the collarbone, right? So it's basically it's a convex curve. It's almost like if you were like a bow and arrow, right? So this is the side that's creating that curve right here. Or you can think about pressing your sternum out. It's, basically different ways of visualizing the same thing. When you do that, these pull together. Or if you think about strengthening this side, right? Because when you're contracting, that's what we're doing. We're engaging those muscles. The natural co-occurrence when you're strengthening these muscles is that these muscles will stretch. So a lot of people who have, either they're slumping shoulders and things like that, it's because they actually have a muscle imbalance. And a muscle imbalance can also be conceived of as a muscle tightness on the antagonistic side of that system. What that means is basically what I always said. If these muscles are not strong enough to pull your shoulder blade back, the muscles in here that want to make you kind of hunch over, those are strengthened beyond a balance point with the muscles back here. So we have to do this. And of course, a lot of modern workplace environments, we have a lot of people sitting and typing, and the tendency is to kind of want to come forward over time if we're not being conscious of it. So a lot of Americans, and I'm sure anyone really working in the first world, tend to have a lot of those issues. Of course, what that happens is it also collapses your chest chakra, your fourth chakra, as well as your throat chakra. Those are just you're kind of collapsing upon them. It makes it harder for energy to be pulled into those areas. So that's basically the system that we're working with. The other thing to mention, meridians. I mean, it's the same in like Tai Chi as it is in Prana. I mean, Prana and Chi are basically the same sort of thing. We have these meridian systems through our fingers that kind of come up through the arm, and they come through the system. They basically, attach along the lines of the vertebrae between your shoulder blades. And so that's true on both sides. So you can think of this whole thing as almost like it's a sleeve, right? So it comes from here all the way up through the shoulders, over them, and down to this side. So that is basically the system that we're thinking about working with. And I will pause there to see if this will actually save this time.